All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army, match week 9/10. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with we'll hit the Premier League, Arsenal Liverpool reaction, ETH's bubble pops, and an inexplicably awesome Saturday slate. Hot topic will be Ballon d'Orama. Ballon d'Orama, huh? Yeah, Mikey liked that one. Halftime, we got a Mount Rushmore based weekly what if and a compliment corner. Round the world, we get featuring an extra special hit it and quit it MLS playoff minute, featuring the man himself. And stoppage time, Ivan Toney's best bets, and everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, time to welcome in this week's panel of beauties. First up, we got boyfriend of the year, Mikey Fowler, who a little birdie just told me took his +1 to Taylor Swift in New Orleans. So first off, was it the life changing experience that we all expect?
Will I ever be playing her in my headphones? No, but did I come away extremely impressed by the scope of it all? Absolutely.
Scope and pageantry.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. I mean, I was picturing it. My kids have not started, begging me to take them. I'm sure it's only a matter of time, but I figured it was like you walk into like a purse or a high-end shoe store and you like see a couple guys and you sort of like give them like a knowing nod, like, yeah, I guess this is what it's all about. Is that what it's all? I mean, did that kind of thing happen?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It was a job. I was running duties and timing things. It was not like a relaxing experience for sure.
I mean, listen, boyfriend of the year. It doesn't come easy, so congrats on that.
Thank you.
All right, Mitchell Golay, a.k.a. Overtime Mitch. You sat down with Iker Casillas last week, so I'm dying to know if the I'm gay tweet exchange with Puyol came up at any point during the conversation.
Stood up with Iker Casillas, and no, it did not, unfortunately. That was not up on the list of approved questions. That was my first ever interview conducted entirely in Spanish as well, because he does not speak conversational English like that, so had to keep it real simple and did not ask about his novio.
Did you brush up on your Spanish ahead of time? Did you know this was going to be in Spanish?
Yeah, yeah. I speak a really passing conversational Spanish, but I did have to study up, yeah.
Okay. Well, what's he?
Well
He's
done.
not usually in the media. What's he doing like a media tour for?
It was a La Liga press event ahead of El Clasico, and they wanted to just expand their footprint over here in the States, and so they gave a bunch of outlets, myself, Bleacher, and some more, like 5 minutes with him.
Okay. Last, never least, Tyler Terrens. Hopefully we see and hear from you again in the MLS playoffs, since it would be downright silly not to have one of the league's top commenting crews calling games for the biggest games of the season. But looking forward to the off season ahead here, what's the plan for keeping yourself busy? Do you have like a Tyler Terrens betterment strategy for the off season, apart from obviously helping take Sam's Army to the next level?
There's no real like betterment plan. I'm pretty maxed out in terms of how much I like do for this world and what I do for the people around me. I'm pretty maxed out, but I'm gonna hopefully finish writing my novel about Tommy Brewster.
We haven't
team
got an
soccer.
update on that in forever. Oh, hold on.
I haven't written the page since March. That's why. There you go.
Okay, Tommy Brewster. That will be the question next week. So just be prepared. Get us a little update. Get us a little.
It's not over yet. I'm not starting. I need to get into a creative mindset. Like my commentating brain and my writing brain are two. It's a process. It's a process. I'm all about scope when I'm writing. Like Mikey and at a Taylor Swift concert. I'm all about scope.
Listen, scope. We'll move on from scope to the pageantry of the Premier League. We are going to nix the traditional, most interesting result of the weekend question, because we're going to dive straight in with we got a Liverpool fan and we got two Tweedles here. So the biggest game of the weekend was the 2-2 draw on Sunday. It elicited a fair amount of I'd say strong emotions and maybe emotional texts on the Sam's Army thread. So we'll start with you, Mikey. What'd you think? Who came away happier from this result?
Is neither an option?
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Liverpool feels like they were on the front foot because I think that's what was happening. And I think that they will be a little bit Like I won't. I don't think they're thrilled with how open that thing ended with not scoring another goal. And I think Arsenal fans are pretty pissed that you let a lead slip twice. So, yeah, like listen, is a 2-2 result in that game fair? Probably not. I think Liverpool had the majority of the chances in that game, and I think an early goal for Arsenal, we can get into this later, but might be the worst thing for some of these players at this point in the season. I just think it changes the entire flow and what they try to do. But yeah, I just think they've established some bad habits from going down to 10 men and having a lot of like sit back behind the ball early on in the season. So I'm not happy with it. I don't think Liverpool is either. So my answer is neither.
Fair enough, Tyler. I saw some scoffs coming from you during that answer. What did you think about the game?
I lean more towards the side of like I think that Liverpool probably feel happy to come away with a point because of the fact that they had to claw back twice. I don't think that like we were quote unquote like on the front foot for the majority of the game. It definitely ended way more open than I thought it was going to, and like we probably should have gotten a third. But based on the 3-game week that we had and going to Leipzig, getting a result there, and then going down to North London, like I think that we're fortunate to come away with a point. And I don't think that we were mentally up for that game the way that we should have. I texted the group, I was like, I thought we were slow and reactive for, the first 20-25 minutes. Andy Robertson got his soul taken away from him by Bukayo Saka. I legitimately had PTSD watching that opening goal. I was like, we're going to lose 5-0 because that's it. When I was there at the Emirates last year, it was the worst experience of my life. Just absolute piss drunk by myself, just surrounded by gunners. Like, it was terrible. The worst experience of my life. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy with the point. Like, if we just have to beat Arsenal this year at Anfield because we didn't get 3 points last year, and I think that if we get a point at the Emirates and then win at Anfield, we'll have done enough against Arsenal to beat them out to win the Prem this year. So,
anything to add there, Mitchell?
I'm more inclined to believe that 2-2 was an accurate representation of the game and the chances that were created. I don't think either team really deserved 3 points from that game. Echo the disappointment that we let a lead slip not once but twice at home, and I think Mikey mentioned it in the group chat that we switched to a kind of park the bus mindset a little too early in that game. I don't know what Mikel could have done substitution-wise differently, but I don't think he helped the game with the subs that he made. That's a game that the guys are going to want to have back because as soon as Trent made that through ball pass, you knew that was 2-2. That pre-assist or hockey assist or whatever you want to call it. That was I'm disappointed to walk away with 1 point, but I think it's a fair result.
There's a huge, Tyler mentioned it with the 3 matches in the week. Arsenal can't find anybody to play center back at the moment and don't want to use some of the other defenders on the bench. That's a whole conversation we had in the group about Zinchenko that we don't have to rehash here. But this is like teams that aren't rotating are being punished pretty heavily, and Arteta is for sure one of those individuals. And I think this is kind of the reality of the situation here is that this is going to happen and guys are going to get hurt and there's not a lot of energy late in these games.
Yeah. You guys are it seems like you're a thin team, like you have a very good starting. It's kind of what I've been talking about Spurs. Just you guys are maybe a half step ahead of us, but like you have a very good starting 11, very good, maybe the best defense around. But then you take one of those CBs away, let alone 2, and now you guys are,
we started in midweek with maybe 8 defensive players on the pitch with the 3 holding midfielders and then the right back situation being Thomas Partey. Like, God bless Thomas Partey for not like that could have been a calamitous day against Diaz on that wing.
Luis Diaz coming off was probably like Christmas coming early for him. Like,
that was a strange sub. I don't know why he made that.
I didn't understand that. And Slot's been doing that where he takes guys off who are like playing well just to like because he doesn't heavily rotate. He just manages in-game minutes, like as opposed to like needing to rotate somebody who played 90. He'll just play them 60 and then start them again the following game. So that's what he's kind of becoming known for. But taking off Diaz, I think, was the last person you needed to take off, because the 1 or 2 times he got him isolated, it was barbecue sauce.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. And listen, there was a lot of things to learn from a game like this. It's a new Liverpool. Like, this is the first time Arsenal's playing the slot Liverpool. Like, maybe they're going to look like this, where it does get a little bit more open late in these games, as teams are tired, and like Tyler just said, there's rotation up top from slot. So I don't know if this Arsenal team has 90 good minutes in them right now. I think that they struggle to finish games, and at some points, like down to 10 men specifically, we are just they have no desire to get out from 70 minutes on, is so far of what I've seen.
But also, can I go back to the fact that, Mikey, you actually tried to make an excuse for your team, saying that you guys have gotten so many red cards this year that are getting used to playing deep and like sitting in a low block. And
I think there's a real habit forming with closing these games out. I really think so.
That's an insane reverse jinx, like trying to create a fake excuse for your team.
Anybody who watches Arsenal,
phenomenal in post-game pressers. Phenomenal.
They are not on the front foot for the last 30 minutes of a lot of these games. And whether that's 10 or 11 men, I think that the team has a problem closing games out on the front foot.
But this is clearly how we want to close out games, though. Because whether we have 10 or 11 men on the field, that's how we've been playing. And I don't know if it's a tactical decision or, like you said, just something mental as to, as a result of going down to 10 men so often. But it feels as if that's how we want to close out games, is to go ahead and then hunker down. I don't agree with that one bit.
It's better than going down and trying to claw your way back. Listen, we'll leave it there, because I think this might come up again in power rankings, which I am going to force you guys to do, because I think it's a good week for that. So we'll leave it there on Arsenal, Liverpool, and move on to the rest of the Premier League slate. Obviously, the big talking point here is Erik Ten Hag, who, God rest his soul, give him a cross, he's gone. So the West Ham, we should have known, by the way, that West Ham was going to be the death of him last year when he got the bubble popping picture on his bald head. So we should have seen that coming. But so West Ham, the 2-1 result, and Michael Oliver, VAR, a controversial call, last gasp penalty that was given, ended up essentially sealing Erik Ten Hag's fate. Before we get to, Ten Hag and sort of the situation moving forward with United, on the VAR call, Tyler, what'd you think? Yes, right, wrong?
Wrong.
You hated it?
Wrong.
Because of the handball?
Not because of the handball. It's just not clear and obvious. That was not a play where I'm looking at that, and if I'm the VAR and I'm saying you might have seriously missed something here. That was a bang play. It was mildly clumsy at best, and I just think it was like natural contact in the penalty area, and like it's not a penalty for me. Like, the bar has gotten so low for clear and obvious error. Like, no.
I'm with you on that. Yes. And so Michael Oliver was the, persona non grata for United fans on the day, and then you wake up the next day, he went from 0 to hero, like, real quick. I think for a lot of people, now that he got Erik Ten Hag fired. So all the talk for United moving forward is that the sporting manager, what is it, Al? I just said Miguel Almiron, so now I got his name in my...
Amarim?
Yeah. He's apparently the odds-on favorite to be the next United manager. He has a big buyout clause. I think it was 10 million euros, but it sounds like United are willing to pay that, and they're now working on, whatever, the fine details of the contract. The big question here is, like, is anybody going to fix this? Like, Erik Ten Hag, I thought he came in with a track record and a style from the Eredivisie that, he'd be able to sort of impart upon United. And it felt like however many, seasons he had, United just never had a playing style. They never had a profile. They never had a calling card MO. You don't know what they're all about. Now, this... Yo, we scratching, DJing? Does anybody, any of you three, have any thoughts or sort of where United go and this manager coming in? Is he basically doomed for another, round of failure here, or is this a a fixable problem?
I think they're putting him
Don't
in a situation that's real difficult. And if they're going to grant him the same,
why is it so difficult? Why is this so difficult?
Expectations and timelines.
I guess
Number
Your
one.
expectations.
well, yeah, I guess it's, I guess I
Alex has been gone
picture it
for
as
over a
difficult.
decade.
Yeah,
I'm tired of that argument being like, these are big shoes to fill. Which shoes? Are you filling David Moyes' shoes? Are you filling Jose's shoes? Are you filling Ralph Ragnick's shoes? Are you filling Erik Ten Hag's shoes? Whose shoes are you
no,
filling?
you're filling United's shoes. United, whether regardless of performance, are perceived as a big club and demand 3 points every weekend, regardless of who they're facing. That has not been the case for the last 3 years. So that, in and of itself, is the big shoes to fill. But
That is
they have
that
the
is
footballers.
that is making a mountain out of that's making a mountain out of a molehill. And they do have the footballers. I still believe that roster is more talented than Spurs. I firmly believe that. I do.
I would agree with
I
that.
do.
Yeah.
And for me, be Villa. Don't try to be United of old. Be Villa. Be a consistent fourth or fifth place team for a few years and go from there. You're not all of a sudden going to become Liverpool, Arsenal, or City overnight. It's just not going to fucking happen. That club hasn't had sustained success or sustained back-to-back Champions League years since Sir Alex has been around. Start small. Ruben Amorim is going to come in, and he took over a shambolic Sporting Lisbon side. They were literally like, they had wooden bats at the gates, and literally like the club was in shambles, and he was able to turn it around. Like this is no different than somebody taking over Chelsea or taking over Spurs might be a bit of a stretch. Taking over Liverpool, taking over Arsenal. It is a big club in the Premier League, and they've just consistently hired the wrong fucking person to do it. I don't think that this is on anybody but the board. And the fact that you fired Ten Hag 2.5 months into the season means you weren't fucking confident in him to begin with, because it only took 2.5 months for you to fire him. If you were concerned about firing somebody for firing's sake, then you should have given him till at least Christmas. And him surviving the Liverpool game and the Porto game and everything in between, and not surviving a West Ham game in which none of what happened was his fault, between the VAR and Diogo Dalot deciding to miss the chance of the year, that's when you're going to fire him? You never had confidence in him. So I don't want to hear that this is I'm so sick of this club, because the people who are in charge are beyond inept and incapable of making the right decision, and are so hamstrung by their own ego and the fear of doing the wrong thing that they will never do the right thing. So it's truly sickening, because the expectations that are put on are at this point, it's a farce to me now. It's just it's another job. It is another job. United have not been United in over a decade. They need to get over it. The media needs to get over it. Just go out there and try to fucking win some football games in consecutive fashion.
Well, they don't spend like just another club, and that's sort of where the expectations, obviously with the history as well, that's where the expectations come. I will say this about Ten Hag. I think that he has put the club on a better footing. Like, when he came in, that locker room was problem. It was toxic. There was all sorts of problems going on there. He got rid of a lot of players that, say what you will about, their talent or whatever, or say what you will about Ten Hag, but he got rid of guys that I think were a problem in that locker room. Now, obviously, so he's basically torn it down. He clearly didn't build it back up. Hopefully that is, speaking from a, kind of a person who is trying to give Manchester United the benefit of the doubt here, Amorim can come in, and he has a vision. He's clearly done it at Sporting, as you've already pointed out. Maybe he can put them, sort of build it back up. I do think that Ten Hag has torn down a toxic structure, and now they're in a better place to get built up from. That's my take on where United is at this point. All right. Other talking points. Late drama on Saturday. If you looked at the slate on Saturday, it'd kind of be Everton, Fulham, Brentford, Ipswich, Brighton, Wolves, Villa, Bournemouth. Nothing that's going to knock your socks off. Well, every single one of those games had a late goal or multiple late goals to make it interesting. So Everton Fulham, they had the 90+4 Beto equalizer for Everton. Brentford Ipswich, maybe the game of the season so far, 4-3. What a game that was, just back and forth. Ipswich equalized in the 86th minute, and then Brentford went ahead with the winner from Mbuemo in 90+6. By the way,
Ipswich was up 2-0.
right, it was, what a game, just an incredible game. Speaking of incredible, like the season that Mbuemo is having at this point, I believe, unless it's changed recently, he was outscoring Manchester United on the season.
He's got 8.
He's got 8, and Manchester United, got to go down the table to find them. They have 8 goals. So him and Mbuemo and Manchester United both have 8 goals, and Erling Haaland has 11. So not bad there. Anyway, also on Saturday, Brighton Wolves 90+3, Cunha equalizer for Wolves, and then Villa Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen got an equalizer 90+6. Every single one of those games had a equalizer or game winner after 90 minutes, which is incredible. The only snoozer was Manchester City and Southampton, which City scored early, and Tyler started sort of gloating about the fact he triple captained Erling Haaland, and he didn't do anything else.
It's a tough guy to be on the wrong side of for a whole year.
And it's not to say that he didn't have the chances in those games too. He should have had 4 goals. You could say that about any City game, but I mean those in particular, he had some ones on the doorstep. I should have had 50 points for Haaland alone from that game.
I don't know what his XG was. I'm going to look it up really quick. It must have been
probably more than Manchester United done this season.
2.3. 2.3 XG.
I triple captain that Viking fucker and come away with like 18 points.
Oh, amazing. All right, we'll get to FPL in just a moment. But first, we still have to talk about the other games. Chelsea, Newcastle. Newcastle they're broken at this point. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Winless in their last 5. Brutal.
Terrible. You could imagine a situation where they just dump Eddie Howe because just to change for the sake of change at this point, which would be sad.
It's so tight in that part of the table. 2 wins in a row, and you're right back into where Newcastle wanted to be this year anyway. So I think Eddie has until Christmas to try to sort it out. Would be my guess.
I hope so. We don't want to lose Jason Tyndall, that guy. No. Speaking of content machines, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he might be up the list. And then the last game, which I got nothing to say. Palace 1, Tottenham 0. Like, listen, Glasner, I think he basically outcoached Ange. Like he hit us with a press that we had nothing. We had no clue what to do with it. We just had nothing. It was a good win for Palace. Obviously, they haven't looked very good this season.
He finally started Mateta. And by the way, what did Mateta do at the end of last season to not deserve that spot?
Just score in every match.
Every single game. And then Eddie Nketiah, because he was an Arsenal guy, just gets the starting number 9 role. Fuck off. And I sold Mateta to make room for Haaland, and then he does that.
It was a great weekend. Everyone but 2 teams scored. Southampton and your beloved Tottenham Hotspur. But have no fear. You guys still have like 60 million to spend on a striker. Oh no, wait, you have him playing.
I'm sorry. Solanke hasn't exactly.
I was expecting something a tad more clever from you on that, Mikey. That was like pretty.
I still can't believe that they invested in this entire front line. So I don't know. It does not look great.
I mean, Solanke feels like a desperation move when the striker we really need is whatever his name Gjork is over in Portugal. That's who we want. That's who I want anyway.
If you're an MLS team, how much would you pay for Timo Werner tomorrow?
£7. He's terrible.
Realistically, he would score 15 to 20 goals in MLS. Easy.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. He would come over here and he'd probably play his dick off because that's just like how he plays. So it would be better than guys like Shaqiri who come over here and don't give a single fuck.
Timo Werner would be a great New York Red Bulls player. He would enjoy Harrison, New Jersey, and he can talk to Emil Forsberg about all the great spots and how to deal with your family when you are moving to the United States.
Sam, can you answer me something?
Probably not.
How did Van de Ven stay on the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, that I don't know. I also he was culpable for the goal as well. Like, I love Van de Ven. I'm a huge fan, but he had a terrible game. He had a bad game. That happens. I have no explanation for it. It didn't help. It didn't help to have him there, unfortunately. Any other shots?
Is that not the most obvious red of the season?
I didn't see it.
Kudu's punching people left and right last week.
I don't mean violent conduct. I mean like VAR intervene kind of thing. I just think he was very clearly through.
Yes. If it had been given, I would have been like, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, I would have agreed I wouldn't have complained. I mean, I was sort of just over it at that point anyway. But whatever. Spurs
got it.
Yeah, we'll get to power rankings in a minute, but they're probably not going to be in the conversation at the moment. I'll give Tyler that. All right, quickly, we'll do FPL here, the updates for the Sam's Army League. First of all, the podcast league, Kyle McGurn has just sort of planted himself up top on the table. He's in first, followed by Connor Lipinski. So Salah can wait. You're in second. Oh, boy. Aditas TVS, Cold Palmer FC. Third place, Major League Soccer, Fraser Connor, who I believe took a similar route as Mikey on the league name there, or team name. And Rooney Tunes, I like that. Fifth place, Brian Gerstenfeld, actually even with Shane Dunn on borrowed time at fifth place. Now, in the Sam's Armory Council of Elders League, oh, look who's up top. It's Sam. It's me.
We do this a lot when you're winning.
I know. I'm extra motivated, and I remember. I usually forget. Well, usually by now I've already forgotten to set my lineup at least 4 times. For whatever reason, maybe it's because we talked about having some sort of punishment at the end of the season. I really do actually think that's what it is. I've hung with it. I've stuck with it. So I'm up top, 524, followed by Major League Soccer. Very clever name, Mikey Fowler, second place. Isaac at FPL, Mitchell Goulet's in third, FCTT in fourth. Bringing up the rear, McGunners, Tommy McCabe. He's having a real tough season, that guy. Yikes.
He got his captain right.
This week?
He had Salah.
My goal at the end of that week with Holland being triple captain, I wanted to jump Mitch. That was like my rock bottom. I was like, this needs to happen.
Did you say Mikey sent my week last week in the group? That was for you not to be above me after that week that I had.
No. I'm saying this weekend.
This week. Oh, okay, got yeah.
Yeah, I think you were an honorable mention Goa because of how bad your FPL week was last week.
Yeah, the boys had an off week. Yeah, we hit the sauce a little too hard on Friday night, and we felt that on Saturday, Sunday.
You'll bounce back.
We will.
Unbelievable.
All right. We're going to do a quick power rankings here. It's been a while. I know Tyler loves this segment. So let's go top 4, bottom 3 in order. And again, reminder, this is if they played right now on a neutral field. So, Tyler, because you love this segment so much, how will you go first and we'll just critique you?
City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea.
We couldn't beat him at home. I see no problem with the list.
Yeah, I mean, given Arsenal's injury issues at the moment especially, I don't have... So that's my top 3 for sure. And I think I would have to go with Chelsea at 4 as well. I got to give a couple shout-outs here. So Aston Villa is definitely in the mix. 3 more teams that at least should merit mentioning at this point. Brighton, Nottingham Forest, who are 7th in the table right now. Shout out Nottingham Forest. And Fulham, who would have been top 4 if not for that late Beto equalizer. That's got to hurt for Fulham. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Right with you there. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea up top. Now, do you want to take a gander at the bottom 3?
Yep. Exactly how you see it. Ipswich, Wolves, Southampton.
Okay. I mean, Palace just beat Spurs, so it'd be tough to throw in there.
Palace sorted out. Now that they benched the forgotten Arsenal boy, they will sort it out.
Wow, that really was a relegation scrap.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. A real easy, quick, no muss, no fuss, no argument power rankings. Well done, boys. All right, and I guess actually Tyler does get the credit for that. So we will now
Yep.
hit the weekend preview. So we got some high profile games. Newcastle and Arsenal is I think that gets us started at the butt crack of
I
dawn
hate
on
this
Saturday.
fixture.
And then on the other bookend of the weekend, we have United with Ruud van Nistelrooy, I believe, as the interim manager, hosting Chelsea. So those are sort of the highest profile games. There's obviously other games we could talk about. So Mitch, what is of the games coming up this weekend, which one are you sort of most intrigued by?
We like the Newcastle Arsenal early Saturday morning. This is a fixture that I feel like we always show up for, but given our current form, it worries me a little bit. I've heard Odegaard's back in training this week. I doubt he'll be ready for the weekend, but that is just good news all around. Curious to see how we line up in the back as well, because like you said, when healthy, we have the best defense in the league. When unhealthy, we look like we're, plugging and playing guys from the academy back there. So I don't know. I can see this game going a lot of different ways, but excited to watch it nonetheless. And then Forest West Ham. Forest West Ham. Because as you mentioned, Forest are now seventh in the table. They continue to get results, and West Ham coming off of, handing Erik Ten Hag his resignation letter. This is a fun one. I'm interested in watching that. Yeah.
Okay. Now on Newcastle, I just don't have any explanation for what's going on with them. They are having a lot of injury problems, so it's worth pointing out. Isak was out for a long while. Gordon is out now. Callum Wilson has been out a while. Trippier's been out. So I mean, they're missing a bunch of guys. Now you guys, Gabriel, I believe. I don't know if they've said how serious that injury was. Did you guys see anything? Yeah. Timber's out. Tierney's out. Odegaard probably out. Calafiori.
Tierney's out?
What's that?
Tierney's out?
Isn't he? No, well, he's been out forever, obviously. But Calafiori, how serious was that injury?
He's hurt.
Okay. So you guys this is going to be walking wounded out there.
We might have to play Zinchenko.
Yeah, what was the quote? Was it you or Tommy that basically really...
Tommy remarked about just how far down the pecking order he's fallen.
Right, but then sort of what he brings to the table. He's like a great player to bring on who helps you move up the pecking order.
Just like takes you from a team that plays like a Villa. Villa would have a ton more control with a player like that, and they'd keep the ball more and kind of take a different step, and then you would quickly mature past the need for Zinchenko.
And he gets stuck on the bench. Well, I would love Newcastle in this game just because, when a team comes in and they haven't been playing that well, and Arsenal obviously has these injuries, and you guys have been playing a lot of games, this is a game where I'd be like, Newcastle, upset alert at home.
Newcastle in this game.
I do, but man, they got a lot of injuries themselves. I like it, but I'm hesitant. Plus,
it's going to be physical. These teams do not like each other.
Should be a good one. Should be a good one early on Saturday. So you already called out Nottingham West Ham, or Forest West Ham. What about Chelsea United, Tyler? Are you expecting like a dead cat or new coach bounce here?
I'm not. not with the real coach. Like a few days or a week or two away from coming in. It's not a true new coach bump. So, I think it's just caretaker. It's caretaker blues is what I'm going to call it.
Well said.
Spurs Villa. I feel like we're ignoring a large elephant.
Yeah, well, it's because I don't want to talk about Spurs right now. That's probably part of it.
Well, you're going to need to dust off that heartbreaking loss to the mighty Crystal Palace and figure it out because John Duran is coming for that ass.
It's true, and I believe we're probably going to be without Son. It sounds like his injury is going to keep him out, and then Spence out, and Odegaard had a setback, I guess. So yeah, it's just things are not. It doesn't feel good. But listen, when we play Villa, it's going to be fun. It's going to be, we have it at home. I do expect sort of fun game, goals, probably both ways. It's not going to be my best bet over pick, but I do expect goals. I don't know.
You've your ass must be killing you. You've been sitting squarely on the fence all podcast so far. You haven't made one definitive statement about anything.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I can't. I think I made a definitive statement about Erik Ten Hag putting United in a better spot than
that he's fired.
No, he put the club on a stronger footing than when he found it. I think he sort of moved the club in the right direction. That was a definitive statement.
It's not compliment corner yet. You don't have to do that. You know.
We're almost there, though. We're almost there. I don't know who we're going to talk about actually in the compliment corner this week. Yes. Okay. Well, do you have a comment on Spurs hosting Villa this weekend?
Another Terran's lock. Put your life savings on it. Villa money line.
Oh God, I love that.
Yep.
I love that. There's money back?
Yep.
There's a money back guarantee on the table here.
There's not anymore. and also whoever sent it after they probably talked to their buddies and were like, "Oh my God, that Terrence kid is actually paying out the Venmos," and then he sent it right after that. You, my friend, there's a special place in hell for you.
It's a big brain move right there. I respect.
It's not big brain. I knew what was going on. He didn't get it past me, and I'm not that smart, so it wasn't that big a brain move.
All right, we will head to hot topics. It's just hot topic, and that is the Ballon d'Or. So Ballon d'Or, we've talked about this, year in, year out. People get worked up about it, kind of, sort of. People really got worked up about it this year, for reasons. I mean, I guess we can discuss whether they're legitimate or not. So the big drama was on the men's side. On the women's side, listen, we all knew who was going to get it, and I'm now blanking on her name.
Bonmatí.
Yes, Bonmatí won it again. No surprise there. And I think Barcelona players were 1, 2, 3, and then Americans had 4 of the top 10. Not bad. Top coach on the women's side, Emma Hayes, shout out. On the men's side, there was a lot of drama. So there was a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks. Was Vinny Jr. going to win the Ballon d'Or? I actually thought his performance against Dortmund in the Champions League just, a week or two ago, I thought that was actually going to be sort of like if there's a tiebreaker, I thought that was going to be it. We all knew it was going to come down to Rodri and Vinny Jr. And Vinny has sort of the stats, whereas, Rodri is just a very solid, great player, two-way player. I thought that the fact that he won the Champions League with Real Madrid, he plays for Real Madrid, and the fact he had that sort of trademark win just a couple weeks ago, I thought for sure that Vinny was going to win it. Well, I guess not. I was wrong. Rodri is your Ballon d'Or winner, and Real Madrid heard on the day of the announcement, which was yesterday, I believe, on Monday, they just heard that Rodri was going to win it. So the club just up and decides to boycott the entire event. Like they were going to have, this entire plane chartered and go to Paris or wherever it is. They actually won the Club of the Season award. No surprise there for the Champions League winner. They just boycotted the awards. So however many top 4 of the top 10 players just weren't at the event, including the number 2 player in Vinny Jr. and number 3 Bellingham. And then you had Mbappe, I think, at 6, and Tony Kroos, now retired, at 9, which is crazy. So what's our hot takes here, Mike? I know you got some hot takes on this situation, either on Vinny not winning it or Real Madrid, boycotting, etc.
I'm focused on trying to figure out why the decision came from Madrid, because I think trying to figure out what FIFA's doing is not that hard. It's just rewarding World Cup winners and pretty much ignoring a lot of the other elements that go into this type of award. So I think Vinny should have won it. I think it's subjective if you feel one way or the other. I don't really think there's a definitive answer here, but I do personally think he should have won it. And I love the move, whether it came from Ancelotti or came from the upper level of management. If you're Real Madrid, the one way you avoid becoming a Manchester United is to keep everyone feeling like the world's against them. Like, if you're paying bajillions of dollars and paying the highest salaries for these players and getting every wonder kid in football, you have to find a way to get in that locker room and go, nobody believes in you. You have to continue to motivate yourself. This is the way to turn everybody into this, like, us against the world mentality and keep that edge going if you're Ancelotti. And I love it. It's disrespectful. It's a camaraderie piece. I think it's really cool. I like the move.
Okay. I mean, it's tough to argue with that. It's a stupid ass event to begin with, and it lasts 8 hours, which is absolutely ridiculous.
He used it as an advantage. He's like, let's just make this about us.
Well, you had to figure something out after the Barcelona game. So yeah, they needed they needed some bump, whether it be never mind. But yeah, they needed a bump.
He's protecting his guy. He's earning locker room credit. I think it's like as intelligent of a move as you could possibly pull off.
I really hadn't thought of it like that. I've pictured it as, mostly because I was reading other people's opinions on it, I pictured it as kind of a slight to the award and the ceremony itself, even though Real Madrid as the team won the team of the year, which I think is a dumb award. There are several different competitions in which you put a ball on a field and then two teams play against each other, and then you figure out who's the best team. Those are the awards for that. This is an individual award ceremony. Why the fuck do we have a team of the year award? But regardless, I hadn't really thought of it like that as a galvanizing way to get the whole team to say, hey, world's against us. This is us against the world now.
Yeah,
I like
5 of the top 10 players.
I was going to say, is there any other way to do it when you have 5 of the top 10? You're coming off of a Champions League title, however many years running. They've either been in winning or in the mix. I mean, it's tough to find a way. Like, this is like Alabama football a couple years ago being like, yeah, nobody believed in us. Yeah, okay.
Exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. And I think it's great.
I actually want to push back on one thing, though. You say Vinny had the stats. I just don't think he did. I don't think he had the overwhelming goals and assists that you need to have as an attacker to win this award against a midfielder who was inarguably the most important piece to all the success that City has had over these past couple seasons.
Are you saying that based upon the fact that we used to live in an era where Ronaldo and Messi were scoring insane and extraterrestrial amounts of goals? Like, Vinny's just scored a lot of goals for like a normal human being, not for Messi and Ronaldo, who used to win this award every year.
I am saying it like that, but I'm also saying that he hasn't scored more or better goals than the other normal human beings that he's up against. That there are players worldwide with comparable statistics in games played for both club and country. So I don't think he went out and claimed this award as his own with the stats that he had. He had some excellent statistics, but I don't think they were head and shoulders better than any other attacker in the world, and therefore he deserved it, as opposed to Rodri, who may not have the goals and assists, but did have the impact.
I agree with Mikey about the World Cup thing, because Modric won it, and he brought Croatia to a final. So it's the same thing. Vinny,
26 goals and 11 assists. Won La Liga, won the Spanish Super Cup, won the Champions League, and Champions League Player of the Tournament. Those are his
decent
premier accolades from that calendar year. 26 goals and 11 assists. Is that how we're talking about Ballon d'Or winners right now? That's
honestly, the assist number needs to be up, especially if you're playing for Madrid.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You're Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bellingham might have actually, if we're just going off goals and assists, didn't Bellingham actually have better sort of numbers than him?
Total.
When I say that Vinny had the stats, I was actually sort of thinking stats and highlights. Like, he has the highlights.
Also comparatively to Rodri too.
Yes.
Right? Like, when you're saying it, you're like, he clearly has like numbers that are worthy of an attacker, and where Rodri might have had 10 goals and 10 assists or something like that.
I feel like Rodri had bigger goals.
10 goals, 14 assists for Rodri. But you want to talk about numbers? Lautaro Martinez, I'm reading these right now. 35 goals, 8 assists.
Can't get in the Argentina team.
Serie A used to stand for something. It's a soft league.
It
is.
Back in my day.
Oh,
Italian Super Cup, Copa America, Serie A Golden Boot, Serie A Most Valuable Player, Copa America Golden Boot. Those are in a fixture. I'm sorry, in a competition in which he beat Vinicius's Brazil.
fair point. Although, was he the driving force of that?
Mitch, you should be on the Ballon d'Or panel. I love the way that you're handling this.
I don't love the Ballon d'Or as an award because of how subjective it is. And Sam, I mean, yes, throw me on the panel. Yes, but Sam, you addressed like the people who are so upset about this. Can
Very
you
upset.
remember in any recent years the outcry of an award like this? And does anybody have an explanation for just why people feel so strongly in a year that there was not a definitive winner?
But everybody feels that way in every sport, whether it be NBA or MLB or what.
About a referee's
NFL.
No,
decision.
I think Mitch is right. There was the sort of outpouring of outcries about this specific, event, and this award was on another level. And I actually do have a theory on that. I think it's because the Messi and Ronaldo fanboys who have been going at each other, for years and years and years, that argument is kind of passé and just boring at this point. And they saw an opportunity here. And it was, coming off of the Clásico where Barcelona, put a hurt on Real Madrid. And when I'm saying Messi and Ronaldo, I'm sort of, they have this Barcelona Real Madrid sort of, vibes there. The Clásico kind of got their hackles up. And then this Vinny Jr. thing, like all the Real Madrid / Ronaldo fanboys were like, well, this is bullshit that we just got screwed. We just got screwed out of this award. And the fact they were so mad about that then brought the Messi, fanboys on board. Because if you're butthurt on the internet, it's like shark blood in the water. They're going to come at you for it. And so it became this whole thing. It's just like it's Messi Ronaldo in a very, point, very concentrated time point event. That's my theory anyway. All right, halftime. Mount Rushmore. So if what if you were given the keys to the castle on creating a Mount Rushmore of all-time soccer player and or coach content machines. So I'll be honest and just say the person who really got me thinking about this was Jose Mourinho. He's absolutely going to be on.
Yeah, we're going to put
Rushmore.
him first.
Right. He's on the Mount Rushmore. So Mikey, he's probably 1 and 2 and maybe 4. We got to slip somebody in at number 3. Okay, so Mikey, who do you got on your Mount Rushmore of all-time soccer content, just machines?
I took a different approach to this. I'm going to have managers listed, but I want to start with the most dramatic thing I could think of, and that's Brendan Rodgers with the envelope. That cracked me up, and it will never not be funny to me. That whole I wrote the name of the people who will disappoint us this year on this envelope. That is a good bit. I don't know many guys that pull bits off in the managing world, so I'm gonna nominate him on mine just for that completely ridiculous barroom decision to do that. I love it. All in favor.
That's so specific and I love it. I love it for you.
I think it was the first thing I thought about.
Okay. All right, Tyler, who you got?
How many do I get to choose? Like 3?
You can
4?
you can do up to 4, I would say.
Jose is like Jose doesn't
Yeah.
count. He
does count. He's just up there. He's already on the Mount Rushmore. We got
There's
3
a
more
fifth-
spots.
There's a fifth head. Yeah, no. There's a fifth head, and it's Jose's. Give me 4 because all of us have Jose. It's a waste of a spot.
All right. Okay.
This is like
That's not how Mount Rushmore works, but go for it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Give me Balotelli. Give me Zlatan.
Yeah.
Give me Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And give me I wanted to go with a coach. I wanted to go with another coach here. Give me Ten Hag. Give me Ten Hag.
Just like the back of his head.
No, I don't think I've heard a coach say as many stupid fucking things in press conferences. There's a part of me that thinks that he lost his job because how he handles himself in the media. Like, I genuinely believe that. So for me, like, what else are we going to talk about now that he's not doing press conference? Like, we talked about that on Sirius XM the other day. The amount of times we play Erik Ten Hag sound on Sirius XM, there's nothing left to talk about on that channel at all. Nothing.
That's amazing. All right, okay. Listen, we all have our own little thoughts on this. Mitch, who you got?
Much more shame me. I hear the condescending nature in your voice. Fucking bullshit.
Let's just a little bit, just a little bit.
So
Listen, I liked your other picks, by the way. I was a big fan of your picks.
Whatever, guy.
So as a content person, I kind of took this question in a different way and thought of it as players who are best in their content or best publishers of content. So Jose, don't give me that. So Jose is up there. He's my number one, and he's on everybody's Mount Rushmore. Number two for me is Thomas Mueller, because he has been appearing in and incredibly entertaining in Bayern Munich content for decades. The longevity that he has, and just like the dude's a whimsical little fairy, but on the field he's a presence. I have a special place in my content heart for Thomas Mueller. Patrice Evra is up there for me. I think Patrice Evra in his social media prime was really, really good. Tyler, when you said Balotelli, I think he would have really shined in the social media era. I think
agree.
he would have been an absolute star, just before his time, really. And then one that I toyed with putting on here, I think Mikey will appreciate this, is Memphis Depay, because that man can make a fan cam edit out of going to get a haircut. That dude could go to the grocery store and make the hardest looking fucking edit and get 7 million views on
Absolute
Instagram.
fact.
It's unbelievable how cool he can make his life look on the internet, and because of that, he's up there for me.
Sam, is this how you asked is this how you wanted the question to be answered? I thought it was like memeable, and you can take things from them and it goes viral because like it's been cut in by like the people, not they're making their own content.
I wanted you guys to take it however you wanted to take it, and I think you've answered it perfectly well. Like you're taking it, you have your own spins on it, and I'm completely okay with the way you've done it.
I think we looked at it through our own lenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the eyes of the beholder. I'm with you on Jose. I have to put Zlatan up there. I might throw somebody like. I have to throw Balotelli up there as well. I just think that he's just an incredible content guy, without even trying. He's effortless. Zlatan tries and Jose tries. Balotelli is just effortless. My fourth, I had a lot of names written down. I had like Peter Crouch. I think I'd probably go with Wayne Rooney. And again, it's in an effortless way. He just, like, the hair plugs, the off the field stuff,
his old
tweets are hilarious. Getting knocked out, drinking with friends and then doing the celebration of getting knocked out, hilarious. I mean, Wayne Rooney, and then you got his wife, and the fight with Vardy's wife. I mean, like, yeah. I'm throwing Wayne Rooney as my fourth.
I think that's a great shout
on the content.
I was gonna just put in Maradona. I think that would have been a lot of fun if he had Twitter.
Yes.
And he counts as a coach too because he was just ripping lines as the national team coach. And I like Rooney for my final four. That's great.
Like, we may actually compile this and get a vote on this, because this is actually a good one to see.
Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have gone with Brendan Rodgers first. But that's okay.
Well, listen, too late now. But I think it's a good shout, just in your own little unique way. Kind of like
I think I'm putting Christian Pulisic with a girlfriend last on the list, by the way.
Which is good. We don't need him to be a content machine. We need him to keep scoring and assisting and playing well.
Leave him alone. Baby Jesus is doing just fine.
Thank you.
Best form of his life.
And
Thank you,
that's
Tyler.
his happiness in the relationship, and I'm happy for him.
All right, quick compliment corner. I think we're going to have to go with Real Madrid fans, because at least in my mind, I've been...
No, veto. I can't.
There is no vetoing. That means I picked the right one. Real Madrid fans, we need a compliment from each one of you. Mitch, what do you got?
The fans?
Yes. Well, maybe not. Should we just do the club itself? Would you rather do the club itself?
Whole?
I've got one.
You can start us out, Mikey.
I
They've got left wing sorted.
I love how our compliments are never heartfelt. Ever.
What a compliment.
Our compliments are meaner than our goddamn...
They've got left wing completely figured out.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Year in and year out, they produce timeless kits.
Very classic.
What do you want me to say?
Tyler?
Their fans are unrelenting in their support. Unrelenting.
That's what I was gonna say. Their fans are passionate. They bring the energy.
No. I said unrelenting. I did not say passionate. Yeah.
Don Carlo's cool.
Listen, we all.
He's got
But
some
that would be a heartfelt compliment, and apparently we don't do heartfelt compliments around here. We're gonna get back to that at some point, but not this week. All right,
Mitch, we should have nominated Ancelotti for content when he posted that picture from that random bar in Montana.
Oh,
that was kind of sick.
That would...
Mikey always picks like random one-off.
That was the best thing that's happened in the last 5 years.
How do you remember that? Like what? And the fact that you thought of like the Brendan Rodgers thing immediately. Like what is at the top of your memory bank that's just sitting there? I'm fascinated.
Not much else apparently. If you got stuff like that up there, I'm impressed.
I've just now come up with this. There should be a Puskás Award equivalent of best social media post from either footballer or manager throughout the course of the season.
We're gonna
as
do
well.
it.
I love that. We'll sponsor that.
Year-end awards. Let's do a year-end awards with that.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love where we're
Ballon to Sam.
I love this Ballon to Sam. I love
I'm boycotting. I'm boycotting if my TikToks aren't nominated.
What is it? TN Terrans on TikTok?
I will not be flying to Chicago.
Do you dance?
No.
Do you dance on your TikTok?
No,
Like
I did 2
Lewandowski?
TikToks at the beginning of the season. Mitch gave me some great notes. I needed to get like a GoPro or something. I just never got one. I'm going to do it for next year. Stay tuned, everybody. Because I was getting a couple views here and there. Got a couple views.
All right. We gotta get this guy going viral. TN Terrans on TikTok. All right. We'll move on to Round the World. And we'll keep this quick, but we can't go too quick because we got an extra special hit and quit it. MLS Playoff Minute. Hit us with it. Big man.
All right. So, unbeknownst to Mikey Fowler, yes, we actually do have a best-of-3 series in Major League Soccer in round number 1. Of course, in order to get there, if you're the 8 or 9 seed, you had to go to the wild card game. As we have been told at MLS Season Pass, explicitly, it is the wild card game. It's not the play-in game. It's not the wild card round, but it is the wild card game. And, of course, those happened on Wednesday, and that was Vancouver beating the socks off of the Portland Timbers at Providence Park by a score of 5-0. And then it was, who was the Eastern Conference game? Oh boy, here we go. It was Atlanta beating Montreal in penalties north of the border at Stade Saputo, despite a fantastic atmosphere and a valiant effort from Joseph Martinez. So Atlanta United got in the 8-9 game, and then Vancouver got in the 8-9 in the West. So that would bring us to Inter Miami and Atlanta on Friday, Messi's first playoff game. And what do you know? He doesn't score. Inter Miami win it 2-1 despite a good effort from Atlanta. Sava Labsunidze with the lone goal. And I do believe that Atlanta are going to pick up game number 2 and force a game 3, which we all love and know here in Major League Soccer in America. Mikey Fowler, big supporter of best-of-3 series in MLS. So let's go to LA. 5-0 in favor of the Galaxy over the Colorado Rapids. And if you lose a game 5-0 in the playoffs, obviously you just get an opportunity to dust yourself off in game number 2 and try to win one. But they're going to have to do it without Georgia Mihailovic and Cole Bassett. The big money signings for the Colorado Rapids will not be available. All right, let's head to Sunday. Orlando City, Central Florida, where nobody wants to hang out. Because if you're going to be in Florida, why wouldn't you be close to the water? Charlotte certainly doesn't want to go to Central Florida anymore. Orlando City, 2-0 winners. And we're going to head back to Bank of America Stadium for game number 2, where Dean Smith will try to hang on for dear life while the side are backed into a corner. Let's head back to the City of Angels, this time to BMO Stadium. LAFC just barely eke by a stingy Vancouver Whitecaps side by a score of 2-1, the same Vancouver side that they bounced in round 1 last year. But this affair was much closer than the ones that happened a year ago. Vanni Sartini's side, I also think that they're going to pick up game number 2
at BC Place. No, there is no motocross event happening for that game. They are going to indeed play their home playoff game. I'm on a heater right now. This is one of my best performances of the year, and it's lasting pretty long, and I'm out of breath, but that's typically how it goes anyway in the Terrence household. All right, let's head over to the great city of Cincinnati, where yours truly resides. FC Cincinnati have backed their way into the postseason. They have not looked phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination. However, they get a wild goal basically off of the head of Yamil Assad. No, it wasn't a header. It was Lucho Acosta hitting the ball as hard as humanly possible across the face of goal, and Assad said, oh my God, it hit me in the forehead and went in. 1-0 winners. Tavon Gray gets sent off late in that game. He's going to be unavailable, the Bronx native, for game number 2 when they head over to Citi Field, because there is a baseball team that's still playing by the name of the Yankees, but they're probably going to get swept. The NLCS was actually the real World Series. Don't at me. Let's go Mets, 2025 World Series champions. All right, let's head over to the Pacific Northwest, where I was for game number 1 between Seattle and Houston, 4-5 matchup. No goals to be had. No vibes. It was just a grotesque affair that was ground out until the very end. Coco Kataskia sent off for some diabolical nonsense. He was trying to get the ball from Jackson Reagan for a quick restart that he couldn't even get because Joao Paulo was being shown a yellow card. He tried to rip the ball away, threw hands, caught somebody's throat, gets sent off, will miss the next game. He put his team in an awful spot. Houston somehow got to penalties, but Seattle come away winners. They go perfect, 5 for 5 from the spot. All 5 takers were righties. The Roldan brothers with kicks number 4 and 5, and brothers Roldan send them into game number 2 at Shell Energy Stadium with an opportunity to win it in Houston. And then, of course, we got a couple of games tonight as we're recording this on a Tuesday, Columbus and Red Bulls, and then RSL and Minnesota. And that will do it for match day number 1 in round 1 of this best of 3 series in MLS. Yes, it's America. It's playoffs. Why wouldn't we have a best of 3 series?
Listen, it's American soccer, Mikey. Get on board, or just get out of the way. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, well done, the Minuteman himself.
We have to post that group chat where Mikey's befuddlement at the fact that there was a best of 3. He goes, why are there? Tommy McKay basically texted the group and he said, penalties and Tyler on the call, boner alert, before I go to sleep. And then Mikey goes, why are there penalties in a first leg? And Tommy goes, so that you can sort out for the best of 3 winner. Mikey goes, best of what in all caps? The second year that this tournament is running. I was laughing out loud in the booth reading that come across my computer.
I couldn't believe my eyes, Tyler.
I love it. All right. Well, listen, well done, as always, on the MLS hitting quit a minute. I don't want to bring the vibes down too far, but condolences to Holden Trent, who is a 25-year-old MLS goalkeeper for Philadelphia Union, who passed away tragically this week. And, I don't know the full story. It sounds like he was surrounded by friends and family. But, condolences, thoughts to everybody who knew him, friends, family, teammates, fans, etc. Just tragic news when you hear something like that. All right, we will head now to stoppage time, where we will start, of course, with best bets. And I remembered the hat this time. Okay, so this one actually is official, unlike the last couple weeks where I kept forgetting to put the hat on. And this last week, not so great. 2 and 3, so not the best of our weeks, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna bounce back. We're gonna hit it hard. So this week, best bet, Overtrain, 5-stide, Wednesday through Sunday. We're gonna hit this quick. Not quite as hit it and quit it quick as Tyler, but as quick as I can do it. On Wednesday, we're going to Feyenoord hosting Ajax. Thursday, Mides Legnica in the 2nd division of Poland are playing a Polish Cup game against Legia Warsaw. Friday, we're going to Saudi Arabia. The Pro League, El Nasser and Rani are hosting El Hilal. Saturday, Falcons FC hosting Inter Miami. And then Sunday, I'm ignoring Tottenham and Villa, even though I think there are a ton of goals in that, and going to the Cyprus League. Ethnikos Achnas is hosting Karmiotissa Pano Polimidion. I think I nailed that. I think I nailed the pronunciation there. Okay, Tyler, what do you got for us on the Ivan Toney's best bets this week?
Parlay, you're going to go Charlotte winning at home against Orlando City, and then you also got Terran's guaranteed lock, if you want to do it as a single bet, LA Galaxy to win over the Colorado Rapids. Okay, No money back guaranteed situation. Do not at me on Venmo. Do not say anything, but I've never been more sure about anything in my life.
Other than the first one with the money back guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mitchell, what do you got for us? I haven't told Tony's best bet.
Bro's going to the Cyprus League to hunt overs. Call the
Listen.
hotline.
That's you got to go where the goals are. All right.
I guess so. All right, I got 3 games. You're going to put them all together. Dortmund, Leipzig, over 2.5. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I like Everton money line over Southampton. There's plus money on that right now. It's plus 165. It's at Southampton, but still. And then AC Milan money line against Monza is just at minus 130 right now. I feel like that's going to move later in the week. But put those all together, you're at plus 560.
Ooh, a tasty little treat. Mikey, finish strong here. What do you got?
Yeah, so there's 2 things I like. I like Danny Welbeck to score against Liverpool.
Bags, man.
That's only so I could goat Mitch into sharing the stat that he sent to the group this week.
Which is a good. Yeah, what was that stat, Mitch?
Welbeck has more Premier League goals than Eric Cantona.
Wow. Longevity has some benefits there. Okay.
I think both Arsenal and Liverpool have a tough week after the battle of the weekend. I actually do see a dip for both of them, and Brighton always playing well, specifically Welbeck. So I like that. And then if you did want a ladder, Ben Sesko would be the bet. I've been giving out ladders, and I think he's going to score a lot of goals against Liverpool at the weekend.
Well done. Well done. Always individual bets from you. That's your calling card now. I like that. All right. Everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. Tyler, you want to start us off?
Sure. I am going to go with Coco Carrasquilla from the Houston Dynamo. I briefly touched on it, but one of the dumber cards I've seen in a long time. Can't be doing that.
In a playoff game.
For a kid that wants to go to Europe, in a playoff game, trying to rip the ball from a player like to play a quick restart that you're not allowed to play. Literally, a yellow card was shown, and he knew that, and just decided he chose violence. So he is my GOAT.
Hopefully, a learning experience, a painful one, but we move. Mitchell, what do you got?
I have a submitted GOA this week. I was asked to amplify someone else's GOA. Elliot Phillimore hit me up on Instagram and asked that I mention Ipswich player Harry Clark, who is the second player in Premier League history to concede a penalty, score an own goal, and get sent off in the same match, which is whatever the football equivalent of a Gordie Howe hat-trick is. That's outrageous. Really, really bad. But my actual GOA is 17-year-old Pau Cubarsí for Barcelona for his performance in El Clasico. 17-year-old center back doing what he did against Vinny, Mbappe, and that entire Real Madrid team cannot be understated how crazy it is. Think about what you were doing at 17 years old. Were you playing against Real Madrid in El Clasico and locking down their best attackers in the world? I mean, just an unbelievable performance from the kid, and I truly think on his way to being one of the world-class center backs.
Well said, and good shout. And shout out to Elliot because you took my GOA. I was gonna say Harry Clark as well, and that was his full debut for Ipswich, which is just insane. Tough way to start. Mikey, who you got?
Been going between 2 here. I'll go with the one that's already been mentioned today. Mario Balotelli's back with Genoa. You're going to see him in Serie A this season. So, if you didn't know, you must have missed the announcement, but I'm going to start betting Mario Balotelli pretty soon.
He's back. He's back, baby. Okay, well, one of my honorable mentions is along the same lines, talking about coming back to Serie A. Francesco Totti, 48-year-old, says that he's got multiple teams interested in bringing him back. I love the thought of it. I hate it if he goes anywhere other than Roma. Like he's a Roma guy. I don't want to have 48-year-old Francesco Totti come back and play like a like an old guy who's not quite, what he used to be for some other team. Nah, I don't want that. So if he plays for Roma, I'm all for it. Otherwise, no. That's my honorable mention. My actual Goa, speaking of content gods, the number one pick for everybody on Mount Rushmore, Jose Mourinho. Dear leader was out there lining up his next job this week. He's got 2+ years left on his contract with Galatasaray, and he's out here lining up his next job. His quote was, or Fenerbahce, not Galatasaray, sorry. When I leave Fenerbahce, I go to a club that doesn't play in UEFA competition. So a club at the bottom in England who needs a coach in a year or two. I'm ready to go. Like, just an incredible quote. You got 2+ years on your contract. You just started coaching at Fenerbahce, and he's already lining up his next job in the Premier League, at the bottom of the Premier League. I love that. Just Jose Mourinho, content god. You can't beat it. All right, there we go. We will be back. Well, first of all, thank you guys. Thank everybody, Mikey, Mitchell, Tyler, Tommy, will be back soon. Thank you. Thank everybody for listening. You guys are the best. We'll be back bigger, better, faster, stronger next week. See you guys then.